the way the last week of the transfer window is going, we are definitely getting into panic mode. Yeah. And when I say panic mode, I mean panic mode because now almost every club wants to finalize whatever they have to do for whichever player that they've been looking at. Everybody is trying to get DS done because they know that the time is getting closer to the end of the transfer window. Chelsea, Bayern contacted one of Chelsea's targets in the last few hours to try and get in there and then get the player from Chelsea Football Club. Chelsea are trying to make sure that they sell the players that they have to sell. They are looking at a lot of them. Tyreek George and the likes are also on board. Some of them, maybe Chelsea will not be able to get them. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, your best place for football tactical analysis. If you've not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, turn on notification. In the notification turn, make sure you do choose all just so anytime there's content here, you are first to have it here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, just so everything is fine for you. Over here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notification. Go to the description of the video below. Every morning there are codes for you to go in there. Go and stick and give yourself a good chance of winning something. Here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Today there's a Champions League games that are going on. So go and pick up the codes and give yourself a chance of winning some very, very good games in the UEFA Champions League last qualifying rounds over there for yourselves. Also, of course, I've said it that if you want the best place for tactical analysis, pre-match analysis, post-match analysis, in-depth analysis, then make sure that you are here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Guys, there is nothing wrong with our volume. See, when I put the AirPods on like this, it means that every time I'm recording, I am listening. And I listen to the content with a lot of other devices. There isn't. The only issue we've had in the last few days has been those little feedback sounds that you get in there. But we are thinking that is because of the kind of shirt I wear. Sometimes maybe there's a little too much. If I'm in the groove and I'm moving too much, then it moves the microphone. But this is the DJI Mic Mini. Like literally, it's the best microphone on the market. So please check your devices as well. I let a lot of people always. Sometimes I walk around, somebody meets me and I say, "Okay, open my YouTube on your on your phone for me. I want to see if the sound is good on another device. The sound is good on a lot of the device. Sometimes you meet somebody and the sound is actually not good. Their own phone sound is not good. In fact, my personal phone sound is not good. So I don't watch videos on my phone in a place that's a little noisy. I'll use AirPod or I'll watch on a different device. So please, there's nothing wrong with our sound. Let's just get straight into the conversation. Let me say a big good morning to you, Sumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. See, they have made the show possible. Yesumo has been super instrumental. And as I tell you every time, if you want spare parts, if your car spare parts is faulty, if it is the bonnet, if it's the fender, if it's the ambience light, if it's whatever, just go to Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. They are in Abuso Okai in Accra. Accra, Abuso Okai. That is where they are, the post office. Go there, ask of Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop. You come out with his boys, with his workers, and they'll take very, very good care of you. Trust me, they'll get a job done for you. So don't worry at all. Go to Yesumo Spare Parts Dealership Shop if you want anything spare parts. If you are away from Accra and you can't go there, just make sure that you give him a call. Call him. He does what he calls the nationwide delivery. Call him on 059-313-8221. 059-313-8221. And I've said it several times. If you want apparel, clothes, shorts, shirts, slippers, anything that's apparel, anything that you wear, it's Yesumo. I've seen a lot of you asking me about the cardigans and the Lacoste I wear to work and stuff like that. All of them are well provided by MOB Clothing. MOB Clothing. Now, MOB is at Tudu, the flower station at Tudu. That's where they are. A flower station at Tudu. Now, if you want anything, just make sure that you go there first off. They do retail and wholesaling. But if you can't go there as well, then they do what they call the nationwide delivery as well. Everywhere that you are in Ghana, they'll deliver the goods. You call them on 0200 668 708 024 7277 140. 024-7277-140. Go to MOB Clothing. And then let's make sure that MOB Clothing gets the job done for you. They take very, very good care of you with anything that you want to wear over there at MOB Clothing. See, the transfer window is getting to its final part. And a lot of conversation. Very, very interesting. Yesterday, the news that came out first off was the fact that Chelsea had gone to Catalonia. And then they've asked for the possibility of signing the young man called Fermin Lopez. Fermin Lopez. They've asked for the possibility of signing Fermin Lopez from FC Barcelona. Now, from throughout yesterday, the news was that boy, Air shared Chelsea for offer nobody, but they were looking into it. They were trying to peruse it and then see if they were willing to accept that offer, if he was willing to make that move from Qatar. In fact, the last time in Barca's game against Levante away from home, apparently Fermin Lopez did not play in that game. In fact, he didn't even travel with the squad. So there were a lot of whispers around the fact that maybe there may be a possibility of Fermin Lopez, Chelsea going in there to go and get the job done. But it's true, Chelsea were very much interested. In my own analysis, in my head, I thought, okay, fine. Maybe it is because Chelsea feel like there may be a roadblock at some point in time in the deal for Xavi Simons. And if they don't get Xavi Simons, then Fermin Lopez can be that option for them. I'll tell you more about the Xavi Simons conversation because another club has approached Xavi Simons and we've had conversations about him. But this morning, what we are having from BarcaUniversal.com, they are saying that Hansi Flick today has said that he is refusing to let another key member of the squad leave this summer. He has blocked the departure of the Barcelona duo. I'm talking about Marc Casado, and then now it looks as if there is another more to that quality. Barca midfielder is tempted to join Chelsea. There are three reasons why Barca midfielder is tempted to join Chelsea. And again, it's on BarcaUniversal.com. Apparently, first off, it is because Chelsea have offered Fermin Lopez a central role in on projects. Now, if they don't get a certain Xavi Simons, they are very much interested. And yesterday was Sport that reported the Fermin Lopez to Chelsea over there. Again, what we hear is that the financial package that Chelsea are offering to Fermin Lopez is very, very interesting. It's very, very interesting that Chelsea are offering a solid financial package to Fermin Lopez. There's the boy from the academy, from the Barcelona academy, young player, hasn't really gotten big contracts before. Chelsea feel like he's a young player they can bring in, and once they bring in, they'll give him solid contract for him to get a job at just 22 years of age. Right move for him. Again, it's a crucial time for Fermin Lopez to get some game time. So if I can go away from home and then go and compete, it would be a very, very good one with Fermin Lopez going on. I mean, mainly you can talk about, the money is very, very important. Very, very important. No matter what you do in times like this, money is very, very important for players like this over there. So, yesterday, Barcelona have been thinking about it. Fermin Lopez has been good, have been thinking through Chelsea's offer for him, and he is yet to make a final decision. And in front of Mundo Deportivo, Mundo says that Chelsea are for Fermin. Of course, Chelsea in for Fermin. That is what Mundo Deportivo is saying. And Chelsea feel like this is the player that they can add that can add the quality to their midfield in terms of the attacking parts of their midfield, and then that can help them create a lot of solutions against the low blocks that they want to come in. When you ask me to choose between either Fermin Lopez or Xavi Simons, for me, it's more Xavi Simons, and I said it several times because it is what Xavi Simons includes in the squad. How didactic Xavi Simons is, especially in the ability to break down low blocks, his ability to, next pick spaces and then control the ball in tight spaces, create a lot of separation and get a job done. That is really one of the reasons why I'm very, very much interested in bringing in Xavi Simons instead of a Fermin Lopez. Now, of course, in front of Sport as well, Sport says that big offer for Fermin of a return to Fermin, talking about how huge the offer for Chelsea Football Club is for Fermin Lopez. Breaking, Barcelona will sell Fermin Lopez at least for 70 million, according to Mundo Deportivo. After said Barca received the offer for Fermin Lopez, they have made up their mind that if they will sell, it's going to be 70 million. 70 million or nothing less than that. If it is not 70 million, they are not going to sell their boy called Fermin Lopez to anybody. Chelsea informed Barcelona that Enzo Maresca spoke to Fermin Lopez twice. According to them, Barcelona tried to confirm this by inquiring with the player, calling him all day without being able to reach him. Barcelona interprets Fermin's actions as signing as ignoring the calls to avoid having to admit he's seriously considering the offer. That is what is going on. So apparently, Enzo Maresca contacted Fermin Lopez. That was the only contact that happened. It came from Enzo Maresca's point of view, where he contacted Fermin Lopez and he said, in my team, I feel like you'll be an important weapon in it. and I need to bring you to Stamford Bridge in London. You've not been on Londoners before, so come to London. Let us get a job done. Now, apparently, it was a two-time call, and Fermin Lopez was interested in it. Since then, Barca have tried to go in there. Chelsea have told Barcelona that they've contacted their player. They've had conversations with Fermin Lopez. They are very, very much interested in Fermin Lopez becoming a Chelsea player, and in that, they want to make sure that they get Fermin Lopez from there. So we'll see how things are going to go on. Of course, Enzo Maresca looks like he wants to get his man in there. Also, Partida Scope saying that Fermin Lopez has a salary of 6 million gross per year at Barcelona. Chelsea will offer him. No, Chelsea will not give him 50 million gross. I've seen this. This is not accurate. This paper is reporting that Chelsea are going to give Fermin Lopez 50 million gross. 50 million gross. That is what I want Ter Stegen and Retistic and Barcelona. It's not possible. They will give me 50 million gross. I mean, if you are giving somebody 6 million gross, so it means they are being the 6 million divided by 12, right? And then gross is before tax. So if you are doing 60 divided by 12, I think it's 5 or so. So that you're talking about 5,000 per month. But that's low. 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. No. That's like 60 divided by 12. Okay, so you're looking at somewhere around 50,000. That is small. That is small. That is small. 50,000. That is small. That is small. So 50,000, and then you do the 50,000 divided by 4. Charlie, that is too small for Fermin Lopez. But still, Chelsea are not going to give him 15 million euros in terms of gross over there. I doubt that is going to happen. I think at best what he gets at Chelsea is somewhere around 8 million, 9 million, 7 million thereabouts gross. Fermin Lopez has no intention of leaving Barcelona, but now he is considering it because there is a big offer from Chelsea Football Club, and maybe Fermin Lopez would want to get out of the club. In fact, this morning, everywhere in Catalan, everybody's talking about a certain Fermin Lopez and his possibility of leaving Barcelona to Chelsea Football Club over there. Now let's stay on still Chelsea conversation because there have been a big bomber in the last few hours. Xavi Simons has been contacted by FC Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, they are very, very much interested in Xavi Simons joining them as it stands now. Now, if you remember, Bayern had contacted Xavi Simons earlier, and then they told them that he told them that he wants to go to Chelsea Football Club, and there's no way he's going to go to Bayern as it stands now. Now, Bayern even went to tell Leipzig that they want Xavi Simons on loan. Leipzig told them that for Xavi Simons, you buy the boy outright. You don't get Xavi Simons on loan. It's not possible. Buy him outright and then get him go. Bayern do not have enough money to get a job done for Xavi Simons. So they contacted him again. They wanted to see at least if they can convince him to get a job done for Xavi Simons. But no, it's not getting the job done. Xavi Simons is still waiting for Chelsea Football Club. The sad thing, however, is that reports from England coming in tells me that Xavi Simons is second priority Alejandro Garnacho. I thought it was Xavi Simons before Alejandro Garnacho, but it looks as if Xavi Simons is in. Now, the operation in getting Xavi Simons is still the same. Sell either Jackson, Nkunku, or Tyreek George, and then later on, you can make sure that you got a job. As it stands now, Tyreek George was camp in London yesterday. They had a huge meeting with the entourage for AS Roma. They told him exactly what they can do for him as a club, the opportunities they can do for him, how well Tyreek George, can go in there and get a job done. That's exactly what they told Tyreek George. And then yesterday in London, they had positive talks. George comes in London, AS Roma, their entourage, they decided that they are going to go on in a permanent deal. And they also brought in Chelsea. They told Chelsea they're going to give Chelsea huge sell-on clauses, so that in case they're selling the boy, fed up from the club, then Chelsea are going to get huge sell-on clauses on the boy called Tyreek George. So we are just waiting. It looks as if Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea is priority. I didn't think that was going to be that much priority to Chelsea Football Club, but it looks as if, as it stands now, Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea is huge priority, and that is something that the Chelsea directors are going to do no matter what. It's like they want to make sure that they bring Alejandro Garnacho to the team. In fact, I had spoken to Patty, and Patty, in a couple of his tweets, also went on to mention that one of the things why they think that Alejandro Garnacho will come and his priority that even the quest for centre backs. Apparently, Enzo Maresca has pushed for centre backs for a while now. The sporting directors told him no, he has to work with Tosin and then Joshua Kofi Champon, who are there. That this summer, the only centre back that they wanted to go for was Dean Heisen. That was the only centre back, only centre back. So that was the only centre back they wanted to go for. So now that they've lost out on Dean Heisen to Real Madrid, they are not going to waste their time on any other centre back. So he should work for him, work for it. And they told him that the priority as it stands now is to bring in a certain Alejandro Garnacho. Now, yesterday, there was a big meeting, according to Chris Wheeler, between Chelsea and then Manchester United for Alejandro Garnacho. If you remember, I told you that Chelsea want to pay a lower fee for Alejandro Garnacho. They want to pay 25 million plus 5 or 20 million plus 5 for Alejandro Garnacho. I mean, it's not even their fault. It's Manchester United who have made their player, their assets stay at home and not train and not go for preseason. So it's not their fault. Chelsea have been trying to negotiate and bargain a deal for 25 million. Man United have insisted that they want 15 million for Alejandro Garnacho. But in Chelsea's favor, it's the fact that the 21-year-old only wishes to join them and has resisted several approaches. Of course, that is the thing because Alejandro Garnacho has made it clear to everybody that Chelsea Football Club that he wants to join. Alejandro Garnacho has made it clear to everybody that it is only Chelsea that he wants to play for. And even when a lot of other clubs, Abahoaba, Garnacho say, Uncle, no, Garnacho said, nah. It's only Chelsea Football Club and Opese Obobo at the moment. So the Garnacho deal it's huge. It is very, very huge. They are trying to make sure that Alejandro Garnacho comes in and then gets the job done for them. We'll see how things are going to go on. How it comes to when it comes to Alejandro Garnacho and then the moves of where Alejandro Garnacho is going to go. Two main things. Like I said, Chelsea are still working on Xavi Simons. It's tied to Christopher Nkunku going. But I think, in fact, the narrative out there is that it is automatically tied to Christopher Nkunku. But I think that's tied to Christopher Nkunku, Tyreek George, and Nicholas Jackson. Once any of these players get so, because the explanation is about UEFA's replacing of players, like the new players that you buy, they're supposed to make sure that at least the old players that are registered in UEFA's knockout competition last season, some of them are gone. So, I mean, what you have to balance the books in that regard. Now, Tyreek George was in the knockout phase of the competition last season. Nicholas Jackson was in the knockout phase of the competition last season. There was also Christopher Nkunku, who was in the knockout phase of the competition last season. So once any of them leaves, what it means is that Chelsea can now go in there and then get a certain Xavi Simons to come and add to the team. I would love to have both Xavi Simons and then Alejandro Garnacho in that Chelsea team. It is going to be very, very interesting if you can get Xavi Simons and Alejandro Garnacho in the Chelsea team because that is going to be huge. It is going to be very, very huge. I mean, that's that Chelsea are still working on Xavi Simons and Alejandro Garnacho. These two remain the two priority targets for Chelsea Football Club. So that is very, very interesting. Chelsea want to make sure that they get those deals done. Like I was telling you, Roma want to pay 20 million for Tyreek George, and they are trying to close in on him. The player has expressed his openness to a permanent move. Wednesday, 27th August will be crucial. So then, like I said, crucial. This last few days is a crucial day for Chelsea. Very, very crucial in terms of finalizing the deal for Tyreek George, doing the deal for Nicholas Jackson to probably leave, and also a deal for Christopher Nkunku because we are getting to the point of the transfer window that is crucial. Again, also same for even bringing in players like Fermin Lopez, who may want to come, who may not want to come, and stuff like that. All of them very, very crucial. In that regard. So we'll see how Chelsea are going to do that huge deal for Xavi Simons and then making it come to the club. So one of the also very big asset that Chelsea wants to make sure that they let go in this transfer window is your man called Raheem Sterling, or Raz as they call him. Sterling is not interested in any move to Turkey, as we hear. I mean, there are a lot of Turkey clubs, Besiktas, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray. All of these clubs came to Raheem Sterling and they told him that, Charlie, we want to bring you in. But Charlie, these footballers, when they are being paid and they are on contract, they don't care. They will enjoy the money you pay them and not play the football. Sterling says that he doesn't want to go to Besiktas. He wants to stay in England and play football, preferably even in Fulham. I mean, even in London, sorry. So any of the London clubs, like last season, he went on loan to Arsenal. it looks very, very likely that Chelsea are going to rather give Raheem Sterling out on loan instead of letting him go out for free. Napoli are also interested in taking the Senegal international off Chelsea's hands. Napoli already talking to Manchester United for Rasmus Hojlund. There's also a possibility that they will do a deal for Nico Jaco. Though it is known whether they would prefer a transfer or loan as it stands now. At least most of the clubs are interested in it. Now, the conversation around Nicholas Jackson and then also Newcastle United is very interesting. Newcastle have sent two offers to Wolverhampton Wanderers to Strand Larsen. Now, Strand Larsen is solid, physically solid guy. Solid guy, ball winning everything, runs channels, great. Last season against Chelsea, against Wolverhampton Wanderers, he was one of the standout performers over there. Very, very good. Give teams I mean, that was proper scouting from there. And they sent 50 million to Wolverhampton Wanderers for Strand Larsen. Then Wolverhampton Wanderers turned it down. What we hear is the Newcastle sent another 55 million. They turned it down again. Now, the Newcastle board, they are urging Eddie Howe to go in for Nicholas Jackson. But Eddie Howe insists that he wants a striker that is good in the air. I mean, he would rather want Nicholas Jackson with another striker, not Nicholas Jackson alone. Newcastle wants resolution to Alexander Ishak's future before moving for Jackson, because they see Jackson in the frame as an Alexander Ishak. So they rather want to get Strand Larsen and add another player. So if they get Strand Larsen for 50 million and they can add Nicholas Jackson for 60 million, that would be perfect for them. So they want to make sure that they sold Alexander Ishak, then they can bring in the guy called Chelsea, Nicholas Jackson in that regard. So we'll see if Newcastle will be able to do the deal for Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson, or they are going to get Strand Larsen. But Strand Larsen's manager, Jose Pereira, spoke about the move. He says Wolves' manager is Victor Pereira. Sorry. Until now, Strand Larsen is our player. Also, I understand football. Every player has a price. He will never force a move. But of course, we know football is football. We must be ready for everything. That is what Victor Pereira is talking about. Strand Larsen possibly going to Newcastle United. Once Strand Larsen goes, then the next move probably becomes either Yohan Wissa or Nicholas Jackson. Once Nico Jaco goes, it means that it opens up the way for Chelsea Football Club to bring in who they want to bring in as the number 10. That is Javi Simons. I mean, in that regard, we are going to see how things are going to go. So, like I said, Newcastle sent a 50 million bid yesterday, and then they sent another 55 million bid that has been turned down all by Wolverhampton Wanderers. I mean, very, very interesting in the transfer conversation. Crucial for almost everybody, not just Chelsea, everybody in the transfer conversation. It's a crucial set of days for them. Mind you, tomorrow there's going to be the UEFA Champions League draw. UEFA Champions League draw. And of course, there are going to be some very, very interesting things that we are going to talk about from there. An agreement between Real Madrid and Olympique Marseille for Dani Ceballos is very, very close now after the new talks with the club in the last 5 hours. Wow. So apparently, Dani Ceballos he favored a move to Marseille. Makane several times said Dani Ceballos believes in that Madrid midfield, on easily, sir, and he will get a chance to go and play away from the Stadio Santiago de Bernabeu in France over there for himself, and he wanted to try and see if he can get a move from there. Now, Madrid were trying to get an agreement. They had been talking to Marseille. They have been trying to get the player in and all of those things, but they were struggling. They were really, really struggling. In the last few hours, Madrid have gotten the green lights for Dani Ceballos to come in to go to Marseille under Roberto De Zerbi. That's what's been going. Agreement between Real Madrid and Olympique Marseille for Dani Ceballos is very close. As it stands now, that is very, very interesting. The last few minutes ago, I was telling you about Napoli's quest for a young man called Rasmus Hojlund. Hojlund. Napoli keep working on the details to fix for Rasmus Hojlund's deal with Man United in the players' camp. They want to make sure. Apparently, he wanted a permanent move away from the club, but the Napoli see that they would rather want a loan with an obligation to buy at the end of the season. So a loan with an obligation to buy at the end of the season, something that's very, very interesting over there for Rasmus Hojlund. AC Milan have approached Adrian Rabiot. Now, Rabiot have not had a good time with Milan in recent times. A lot of fights, a lot of issues. with players. His mother Veronique had come out to come and speak and all of that. Now it looks as if there is a move possibly away from home for the man that is called Adrian Rabiot. There is a move away from home for Adrian Rabiot. And AC Milan have approached Adrian Rabiot's camp, but there are no talks over swap deal with Ismail Benassa. Talks are underway only for the player side at this stage. Ismail Benassa is a player for AC Milan, and there's a big conversation whether he would rather want to go and then go and play at his former club at AC Milan. Yesterday, I told you about a boy called Yeremy Pino. Yeremy Pino. He used to play for Villarreal in the Spanish La Liga. And after Eberechi Eze left Crystal Palace, Crystal Palace have been looking for a replacement. And quickly, Crystal Palace have gone to Spain and they've brought in a young man called Yeremy Pino. 30 million fixed fee plus all add-ons. They are going to sign him on as a long-term deal for the winger who said yes to Crystal Palace, leaving Villarreal. Of course, that was quickly confirmed when it comes to Yeremy. Arsenal are going to lose their man Jacob Kiwior to FC Porto. They want him for 26 million euros. Jacob Kiwior was very important for Arsenal Football Club last season for everything that they did. Jacob Kiwior was super important for them, and it looks as if a move away from the Emirates is likely for Jacob Kiwior as it stands now. It looks as if Jacob Kiwior is going to move away from the Arsenal. He's going to go on and play in other teams. And so we'll see how things are going to go on when it comes to Jacob Kiwior, an important centre back for Arsenal Football Club in the last few hours. But now it looks as if he's going to go and then move on from there. Very interesting things over there. Of course, on the part of Football Club Real Madrid, after the big issue of Dani Ceballos, there's also the fact that Madrid, according to Bild in Germany, Madrid have been asking questions about Bayern Munich centre back, French centre back Dayo Upamecano. I mean, if you remember, Madrid have been linked to Ibu Konate, they have been linked to William Saliba, and then now there is also Dayo Upamecano, who is also on the list for Real Madrid's list of players that they have been linked to as it stands now. We'll see if Dayo Upamecano is going to make the move to Spain as it stands now, or who is going to be the player that Madrid are going to choose. Of course, all of the clubs were in training this weekend. Madrid's training, I've had almost everybody in there. Oren Chimini, David Alaba, Gonzalo Garcia, Federico Valverde, Dani Ceballos himself was there. Almost everybody was in that huge Madrid training. Gonzalo Garcia, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Vinicius Jr., everybody was in that Madrid training, going in to make sure that things go on very well for themselves. Also, the Chelsea yesterday also had their own training with all of their players. Reece James, all of those very important players. Everybody was right there to make sure that things will go on very well for themselves. We'll see how Chelsea is going to go. Of course, Chelsea are playing against Fulham this weekend. I mean, early kickoff, somewhere around 12:30 or 11:30. Huge one. When it comes to Chelsea going on to go and play. We'll see how things are going to go on, because when you're playing against Fulham 12:30 early on a Saturday, there, it's huge. Chelsea's last training, the winning team was Robert Sanchez, Reece James, Marco Correa, Wesley Fofana, Liam Delap, Malo Gusto, Enzo Fernandes, and then of course Andre Sanch. These are the players that won in there. 3 defenders, 2 midfielders, and then 4 defenders, 2 midfielders, and then 1 center forward. That is interesting. So I think they played this is 5. They played 7 aside. Very interesting. And then Chelsea see that the team that won over there for themselves. We'll see how things are going to go on when it comes to Fermin Lopez. The updates with Xavi Simons and all of those players is that Chelsea are still hugely working on it. We'll see how things are going to go on from there. We'll see how things are going to go on. Chelsea clubs that are going to perform in the Champions League or Europa League cannot meet each other in the round 3 of the League Cup. Chelsea won't face Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, Tottenham Hotspur in a draw. They won't face any of these guys in the League Cup. They'll rather go on to the next round and possibly face each other when it comes to stuff like that. Real Madrid will receive an offer from a club on Wednesday. Of course, we know that club is going to be Marseille for Dani Ceballos. We know that is definitely what's going to happen. Barcelona will draw 2 of the following big clubs in the Champions League tomorrow: Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Paris Saint-Germain, Bayern, Borussia Dortmund, and Inter. Interesting games that we are going to have this season in the Champions League. Obviously, when it comes to the players that are in. And Theo Walcott has been speaking. He has been comparing a young Arsenal player, very, very young player. Wow.